these companies name we call as a external user. So these external users, how do you provide access to this? For example, this is on Microsoft.com. Take for example here Gmail is one of the company, or you can talk about any Neil Technologies, right? Or any of the company you have. The user must be belongs to this company. With this name, we need to create a user in our portal as an external user. This process called as a external user. We need to create a user as external and invite them. Invite external user, and the link would be provided to accept to this external user. Once he accepted, then user must be created in our portal. So how to create this user? Let's come back to the portal. You should go to the Microsoft Entra ID. Click on users. Click on the new user. Invite external user. And can anyone give your email ID? I can, think about you are the external user, and I'm going to create a user with your email ID. The email ID must be provided from the different company. Then I'll try to create it. Anyone please ping here that email ID. I would say external user. Okay. Can anyone help me to ping your email ID?
ijehobola@gmail.com.
Okay. Could you please help me to chat? Text in this.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So this is the email ID I'm going to give here. And I can just display name, put that external users, or you can put that same email ID with the external user. And this would be creating with the hashtag external automatically. Okay. So we can send an invite message. You would be getting, Bola, you would be getting invitation in your email ID. And so we are created username as external, or you can just say message, right? This message would come to you in your email ID. And so anyone other CC email ID is there, you can provide it here. And this URL would come to you, right? The first step when you're going to create a new external user, we must need an email ID of the different company, different organization, and just provide the message what purpose you are going to create it. Go to the properties, and you can fill all the information whichever needed, all the optional information which we discussed in the last class, right? And the since is a class, you can, I don't need that isn't just I'm going to give a first name, last name. And you see this process called as a guest user. This process called as a guest user, where we are creating a external user. And then if any role you wanted to be assigned to this, or any group need to be added in this, you can add it. So in this role adding, the external user can manage from our portal whichever role you are going to assign, you can assign it. For example, you can say help desk administrator can reset the password for non-administrator and help desk administrator, right? And you can see also guest, something you have guest inviter can invite the guest users to independent, the members can invite the guest setting. So let's select two role which you are going to add into the Bola external user as external user. help desk. And depends on the organizations which you have decided we need to provide access for this role for the external user. You can choose all the one of them, right? We have added the two rule, help desk administrator and guest inviter, and just go and review and create it. The moment I click on the invite, Bola, you would be getting a mail notification in your Gmail. You need to log in your Gmail and you need to accept the invitation. After created, after external user created, the invite will send to the external user. Can you please check it, Bola, in your email ID? Have you invited?
Yes, I have the invite. It says
Did you?
default directory invited you to
Perfect.
access
Yeah.
applications within the organization.
Quickly share your screen. Okay. And I'll tell you the what steps needs to be followed. You need to click on that accept invitation.
You want me to accept?
Yeah, please share your screen and I'll tell you what steps needs to be followed. Let other also know that is in after receiving the external user invitation, how to process.
Okay, give me a minute because I was using my phone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let me
Okay.
open my Gmail on.
Sure. Sure. Take your time, please.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. All right. So you received this to for everyone, Stanley and Emma. Yeah, scroll down. You see, you would be, yeah, there is a accept invitation. Click on that. And you would be receiving code would be getting for the notification. Send a code and go back to the email ID. And you see that one code would be received. Inbox. Right. You take that code. This is just verification process. How external user we are creating, we are following this step. Sign in, accept it, and you see you would be able to log in a portal and which whatever the role permissions we provided. Yeah, click on that first one, and next and so ask later. Ask later. This is just authentication asking. It would go to the authentication process. You can come back and ask later. You can say ask later.
Okay. So what do you want me to do?
Yeah, you can just come back here. You want a different authenticator, or you can just wait.
Go back to my mail? No.
No. Click on the my son. Just click on back. Back. This is in the browser. Yeah, right. Click on ask later. Perfect. You see, you are login to this portal, and you are going to log in from my organization, which is existing organization, as a vendor, as a partner, as a third party, right? Now, the whatever the applications or whatever resource we provided access, you would be able to. Now, same things. Go to the portal.azure.com, another portal, another browser. Portal.azure.com.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see the left side, you have already logged in, right? And now you will be logged in with your username. The earlier username I have provided with your email ID. Let me share my screen and I can show you that your username should be created in my account, my portal. Okay, let me just share you my screen. You can
Okay,
stop screen sharing.
perfect.
Yeah, here you can stop screen sharing. Thank you, Bola, for the support. And this would be needed to, after you have accepted the invitation and validated for the verification code, I just refresh it and the user must be created here as an external hash code. Do you see your username is created here with the external? There is a guest. Refresh it here. You see? You see this? There is a one user called as a guest. Now this user I can manage and I can provide access to access the resources. So when you click on this, now we will be following the same step, which we need to provide that assignment role, Azure role, right? So that unique identification name is been created in my organization. So now you are the different organizations, external users, and we created user and we send a notification to the external user, accept it, and that successful user should be created in my portal. So after user is created, then we would be going to provide the resources. So in this process, what is happening here? You no need to have any, additional connectivity, additional configuration between these two companies, right? So what is the benefit of this creating this? What is the benefit of we are going to do this? This would be benefit for you don't need to have additional configurations needed. Earlier, what we need to do, if external user or other vendor to connect with us and to accessing our resources, we must create a user in our organization. And even though they have left or the temporarily used, but user must be still exist in our company. Correct? So this kind of process, we would be able to manage those users as extent we have that all identification in our organization. And it's automatically hashtag, it would be going to create it. How many users we have that is in, internal user, how many users are in external user as a guest, right? How many users are in internal user as a part of the type of, you see, default directory, click on the users. The user type is shows as a member. The member indicate called internal user, our organization user. The guest indicate called external user. And you see the one user I have created mine and one more hashtag has been created as external. This is hashtag will be created automatically to identification how many users are we created as external user. Getting my point? Understanding here how to create a external user.
Yes, Mr. Neil, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can you give an example in production whereby you have an external user come into the organization and you want to grant them access? So when
Okay.
you grant them this access, I just want an example so
Yeah.
that I can sink in better with me. If they come into the what can they do with this access that you have granted them on your portal?
Yeah. Yeah. Understood. Now, say this process is we call as a B2B collaboration. Okay. What do you mean by this? Now, take example that is in you are the different organization, right? We need to securely share our company's applications, access, and service with external user. What do you mean by this here? Now, this is my organization. Here we have some applications, right? Other services you wanted to, services means you wanted to create a user, or we have the resource group access, or you say virtual machines created. And these access we need to provide external user. So now this user, this person is not on our company, but some access due to the vendor or partner we connected as a part of business to business collaboration, right? Now process of this user we need to provide access from our organization. So you have any of the applications to access to him. How do you provide access? We must created a user as an external user, not for as a internal user. So you user created, but that process going to be happening for the accept the invitation, and one that is validate is done, that user must be created in our portal. This is the first step. Now second step, what is the benefit of this? What is the use cases we would be going to use later? Since is a part of the business to business collaboration, our company applications or services we need to securely, it means what, we don't need to have any additional configurations to connect between these two organizations. Getting me point? So how do you provide access now? You know that already we talked about that user. Say here example, now this user I wanted to provide access, I wanted to assign some role on this user. You can see assign the role. If you go to the applications, if you add the members, you see that we have given this is to help desk administrator. This user can manage, he's a can reset the password or non-administrative and help desk user administrators. And we have created groups, he can able to part of the members, add a membership this user. And we have the applications, and we can provide them the application access. If you are already integrated, we have not yet created any applications, and these applications you want to provide access to him, and some license you are going to assigning this user, you can assign the license of this user. So overall we would be handling and we will be controlling in the centrally which user, what kind of access we provided to the external user. It is a benefit for without any additional network connection between these two company, or we don't need to create any trust between these two company, which is external trust kind of is a networking point of. Instead we just as a part of the business to business collaboration process, we would be creating securely as an external user, the process we are going to creating external user, and these user it will be automatically created as a hashtag with the external, and we would be able to understand how many users are external user. The user type shows as a guest, whichever user shows as a guest we called as external user. Getting my point?
Yes, yes.
Right. So now this would not be a regularly, because ultimately that you are the organization, you are the global administrator, your company says that isn't, we have tied up with the multiple companies, but we need to provide them our application access. And such requirement, yes, there is a possibilities. Microsoft has brought up this feature called, yes, you can create a new user, external new user, and you can ask them to which user is email ID needed, and you can provide display name and send them the invitation message. And during process, if you want to add any assignment, you can provide the assignment, and he would be part of any group, you can add this group here. But now this is just for the understand that how do you manage for the other domain level. Say now we are talking about only that is in default directory called as a on Microsoft.com. And
Can
when you
you,
create,
excuse me, before you
yeah,
move out of this part, I was going to ask that um there was no password initiated while you were creating this external user. So
mhm,
does it mean when they want to log in, it's just based on the link received?
exactly, right, right, right.
Secondly, is there any timeline that the external user can have access to the portal? We didn't
N-
set up any timeline to say, okay, since it's external, it
External
should
user,
be
correct.
granted access for just a week, 2 weeks, or so. How do you incorporate that?
Right. So good question actually, Bola. So now if you see here, right, you do not have any timeline. We would be created this user as external user, and as an administrator, we should aware about that is these are all external user. Once that is in access revoked after the timeline, we need to be delete from this user. One that is in, say we have given for the 1 month, right, to access some resources. After the 1 month, that resource should be get deleted from the portal. There's no timeline specifically in Active Directory. The comparison with on-prem Active Directory, we can set on-prem Active Directory, we can set timeline. This features would be available in on-prem AD. The user we created that user, we can set a timeline when account get expired. Account get expired. The timeline we can set it. That would be two options here. The two options are account expired status, on-prem Active Directory, which is never, and you can set the date and time. Date. So whichever the user are selected the specific date, and immediately that user is get expired, you will not be able to access. But in on-prem, in a cloud infrastructure where you created the user, you do not have a timeline to set, but so you would be able to delete the user for when you do not, or you see this revoke the sessions, the options called. If I click on the revoke sessions, do you want to revoke all the sessions for the user? This will revoke all the sessions the user and requiring the user to re-sign from all the devices. Before you deleting, you can go ahead with the revoke sessions. If I click yes, again what you need to do, you need to re-sign it. And that will be again for the revalidated authentication process. Understood? If I say yes, then you would be able to again re notification sent to you, then you would be able to log in. Good to go.
Yes, Mr. Nee. Thank you.
Okay. And I was talking about same things, right? So now, so far you see this, we are using for the on Microsoft.com, right? Which you see we are creating a user. All the primary domain would be that is in on Microsoft.com, right? Of any user you creating here, and all the users are belongs to this domain, which is default domain, right? So how about if I wanted to create my custom domain, or you say my own domain? Now the company name called as a Neil Technologies, right? .in. This is my own companies. I wanted to, I need to create custom domain in Azure portal. And whichever users we created, when we creating a new user, the user name must be